Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick little video just kind of talking about being gluten-free, some of the ways that I work through being gluten-free, finding out I was gluten-free, things like that. So I just wanted to leave that here for you guys to see. So I started being gluten-free and cutting gluten out of my diet when I was a sophomore in college, and now I'm a senior in college. So I've always had a really big food issue, but it got a lot worse around that time of sophomore year where I got to the point where I really didn't even want to eat because it really upset my stomach that much that I was getting sick anytime I ate. So I really talked to my roommate, and she's always had really bad stomach issues, being lactose intolerant, so she knows how to deal with allergies. So I talked to her about what she thought, and we started we would cut one food out of my diet for a little while and see if that helped. And we finally cut gluten out of my diet because my grandmother had a gluten sensitivity, and when we cut gluten out of my diet, it really helped a lot. So gluten is anything that contains wheat, barley, or rye. So bread, a lot of breads. They have alternatives for a lot of these foods now, but there's a lot of stuff that contains wheat, barley, and rye. I can't have a Krispy Kream donut, but anyway. But I have never been tested to see if I actually have celiac disease, and from what I've read about celiac disease, I'm not a doctor, so I do not know, but what I've read is that the gluten actually attacks the small intestine, because it's not digested, and it really messes up the small intestine. So to actually be tested for celiac disease, I was told at the doctor's office that you have to be eating gluten for at least a month, as in a normal diet. And at that point, when I realized there was actually a disease for not being able to eat gluten, I had cut out gluten for a few months, and I was not willing to put it back in my diet, so I haven't been tested. So far, there is not a cure for celiac disease, so there's not really a point for me to get tested, in my opinion. So I probably won't be tested. But anyway, so some of the foods, I still cook and I eat food. But some of the common foods that I like to cook are chicken and rice with spinach and sunflower seeds is a go-to meal for me for dinner. For breakfast, I can have oatmeal. Some people I know that are actually celiac disease can't have oatmeal, and some people can. It just kind of depends on the person. So I also like to make a lot of spaghetti. So they have a lot of good gluten-free pastas out there that you can use, and gluten-free pasta sauce, and muffins. I love making muffins, either from a mix or from scratch. Muffins are just good. They're just versatile. So I really like making muffins. What else? Oh, a food that you would be surprised actually has gluten in it would be vinegar. So I can't have vinegar, but I can have distilled vinegar. So in the distillation process, it takes all the gluten out, or so they say. I haven't had an issue. So if a recipe calls for vinegar, I have to make sure that I use distilled vinegar instead of regular vinegar. But there's a lot of brands out there that have really good foods, so I like to use King Arthur has really good like cake mix. They also have a donut mix, but I haven't really found any donuts that I particularly like. Also great value, like the Walmart brand. Their brownies, you can see in a previous video, I actually made their brownies. They're the best brownies that I have had. Pillsbury has some really good chocolate chip cookie mix. And my favorite bread is, probably won't pronounce this right, Sakar bread. It's actually, it's a brand based out of Europe, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. But their bread is really good. I like their white bread. They have a multigrain bread, but I'm not a huge fan of like seeds in my bread, but you know, some people are. So some of the struggles that I have like being gluten-free is like when you go overnight somewhere, like it really stresses me out because like, am I gonna have breakfast? Am I gonna have lunch? Am I going to be able to go to a restaurant there? And stuff like that. It really makes me nervous. And going to a party, like people cook your food and you don't know like exactly what's in the food, and you feel really awkward asking, but you have an allergy and you really shouldn't feel awkward asking, but it's important for your health to ask. And most of the time people will tell you exactly what they put in there, and you can read the ingredients list, so it's not a huge deal. But the biggest issue is like cross-contamination. So people that aren't used to allergies, they may not think about it and touch something that has gluten in it and then touch your food, and that's really difficult because that can still get you sick. So that's why I have a hard time going to a lot of restaurants. Like I went to Zaxby's and I accidentally had a fried onion in the bottom of my bowl. It was a complete accident. It did not mean to happen at all. It just happens. And in that case, I do everything I can to make sure that like I don't eat that piece. But if it does happen, I found that taking Tums actually helps like soothe my stomach, but I still get like a little bit sick. So it's helped me a little bit to take Tums. Anyway, so I hope this video was helpful for all of my viewers out there. If you're gluten-free or not gluten-free, be sure to leave a comment if you want to ask me any questions about being gluten-free. I would love to answer any of your questions that you might have. If you want to leave a recipe, a gluten-free recipe, I would love to check it out and have it shared with everybody, and possibly make it on my channel if it's good. Also, if you have any like brands or tips and tricks for being gluten-free, be sure to leave that in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you want to hear about what I'm doing. And I try to talk about the restaurants that I go to and how they were for being gluten-free and everything like that. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I hope to get back to you guys and answer any questions that you might have. Bye!